Welcome to the Vintners Series,
Oh.
February 2014. And so I was explaining to Ed that one daughter, who we're going to go visit, first of all, I'm going down to the Provence to taste some wines. And I'm picking up one daughter who's at a little town called Saint-Jean. She's baking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, listen to this. They wake
Is
up.
it that hot out there?
Saint-Jean?
Yeah, she said she's
baking.
baking.
Actually, it's like 32. It's really cold. It's snowing.
Not
But
baking to me.
They go from, I think, 6 in the morning till noon in class studying. And then they come back at lunch at 1 to like 7 or 8 baking.
Oh my!
Every day, 4 days a week.
Wow.
And then you're supposed to take your pastries after you've made them in school and take them into town, which is a very small town, and trade the restaurants for meals.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
isn't that
funny.
And the other one, the other number 3 daughter is in Salzburg at a semester abroad because the University of Redlands has their own campus there.
I always wanted a semester abroad.
Well, she's not available.
I see.
Okay, I freaked over this wine when we tasted it
Well,
first.
you know, the story is kind of bizarre. I mean, the guy gets together with a bunch of sommeliers and then they blend the wine, which is probably the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. But the results were good.
You know what? There's a ton of complexity in this wine. A little bit of oak, great balance.
Wow,
And
that really is good.
It's going to live, you know, right? You get the feeling it's just going to live. There's enough fruit, enough acid. It's going to really develop nicely. Why do they call it the table, though?
They call it the table.
Table this?
No, it has to do with the table at the restaurant or something like that. It was some. It didn't. It got lost in translation.
But it's an 09, so it's already. It feels very bright still.
Well, yeah, but it's resolving the tannins and whatnot. I mean, it's got great Cabernet flavor. I got to admit, it's very, very good Cabernet. What's interesting is that it's a California appellation, but it really tastes Napa to me.
Yeah, it does.
But that's where they started. They started blending these wines from Napa Valley Cabernet. So, and they didn't tell me what the blend is, but I guarantee you there's a fair amount of Napa Cab in here. You know,
It's really good.
you know, $21.99 is a great price. $11.99 reorder price is phenomenal. This is going to be your wedding
This is
wine,
one of
Mary.
those. I think this is one of those must-haves, and I think I moved a wine because the guy says, "Well, if you give me the order today, I'll give you this price so you can afford to put it in the Vintners Series."
Well,
so,
I must have it now.
I know, so I had to move something else, but it's really good. I'm giving this a 96.
I'm going to do a 98. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's one of the best
Wow.
wines we've featured. So there.
No, Ed.
Yes, Paul. All right, and now for something completely different.
Well, the
Guess what?
Chardonnay.
Another Chardonnay.
Chardonnay, but this is Reserve Chilean.
Ooh.
So wait a minute. We started these things, years ago, and we hardly had any Chilean or South American Chardonnays, and we all had Sauvignon Blancs and Torrontés, and now we've got all these South American Chardonnays, and I think they're distinctively different and very interesting at this point. They're certainly palatable. More obviously
Right,
palatable.
fruit
but
in the nose.
The original ones you couldn't really drink from Chardonnay from that area.
Oh no! But this
wow.
is delicious.
That nose is amazing.
It really is nice. I love that fresh green apple flavor that you get out of really well-made Chardonnay that isn't over oaked. As a matter of fact, it's unoaked completely. There's no oak on it at all.
I get like tangerine. Tangerine rind in this.
Wow.
Have you noticed? Okay, we drove to Fresno.
It's a very complex wine.
It is. It's got a lot going on. We drove to Fresno and we stopped. Have you seen those cuties?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess those are just some hybrid tangerines.
Yeah.
Now they have halos as well. Have you seen those in the bag?
Oh,
And those are a little bigger, but so I found out that the guys that make these brands, they're like killing it because they've developed these different size fruits that have all these flavors. And the reason I brought this up, I had 3 of them last night because they're so small, these cuties. And that's what I smelled.
Yeah,
I
absolutely. That's
smelled
a good
the
color.
rind.
Boy, that's really, really nice. I'm giving that a 97. I think that's spectacular.
But just before the finish, there's that green apple you're talking about. Just like it hits you. That was really good. Okay, so my dad, he's got a lot of doctors he deals with these days. He's 80-something years old. He's always down there, and they always talk wine. So one of his doctors says, well, I need to get Pinot Noir because Pinot Noir is the best grape for the antioxidants and the resveratrol and all that. And I said, no, it's not. He goes, what do you mean?
It's really not.
I'm telling my dad, right, who's a pharmacist, botanist by trade. I said, it's Tannat. He goes, how do you know that? I said, well, there's a whole book written about it. Actually, the glass diet or something like that, the red wine diet, which I've been on for years. And it turns out that Tannat has the most. Tannat's generally grown in Uruguay. We don't see it much anywhere else. Have we grown it here?
There are some people that are trying to grow it here without much success. It's a really tough grape. I mean, it's grown in the Provence area of France and in an area called Madrian, and it's kind of like the Cahors wine
Yes.
in France. It's made from Malbec. That's really not very good, and yet it goes to South America and it's phenomenal. You know, and that's exactly what's happened with Tannat in Uruguay.
Well, here's a nose that's, you know, because it's such a difficult grape, it's such an extracted grape, but you get a little raisins in the nose, but it's not in the palate.
No, it's not.
Really
Matter of fact,
balanced.
this is one of the best ones I've had.
It's so smooth.
Because these wines can be really tannic.
Very
well, that's why they have all the antioxidants. So they have it's the coloring agent. It's the anthocyanins in the grapes that are what makes give grapes their color. And this one's obviously pretty thick.
I mean, I can get and I can have this with food, even though there's not so much acid in it. But you can,
Yeah.
wonderful foods that would go with this.
Well, they would have to be pretty substantial.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the fillet of sole with the lemon caper butter sauce is not going to work here. Okay, not that I'm a food wine Nazi, but believe me, it ain't going to work here.
And heavily lathered.
Yeah.
Even an osso buco or a heavy lathered rib.
Oh, ribs would be terrific with
Yeah,
this.
this
you
is
know.
something.
So anyway, yeah,
But the nose is deceiving because it's got a little age in the nose, but you don't get it in the palate at all.
yeah. Well, it needs age. You don't want to drink these wines too young. I mean, they'll literally get lockjaw.
I'm doing this in 95 because of what it is.
I'm doing a 94. Okay, because I like them. But it's definitely got a
It's so interesting.
killer wine. Okay.
Only the Uruguays would put Tannat premium varietal. Like we don't know the difference.
Well, we don't. And last but not least, the Casarena 505.
Is that the same as Macarena?
You know, it amazes me how people
Casarena.
how they come up with the names of these wines. You know, Casarena is the area that they grow the grape in, but 505 is their address.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
their
funny.
address. Like, okay.
I wasn't given that bit of
You
information.
know, I mean, anyway.
$17.99 on the shelf, $12.99 for more. But what a nose! Another Mendoza Chardonnay. This is so great.
wow.
I love this. I can smell this. Just keep
Well,
smelling it.
they really have come a long way with their whites, especially Chardonnay. You know, Argentina and Chile. We've done some really interesting wines.
What a departure from the Apaltagua. That's
I know.
crisp green apples. This is, look at the color, even shows you a little more depth and it's more.
Well, I think it's
apricots
got some wood in it. It's it's a little beefier, and for more substantial dishes. $17.99 on the shelf is a great buy, in spite of the fact that it's in a Bordeaux bottle instead of a Burgundy bottle, which is where it should be. But who am I to bring up that?
Who knows?
$12.99 on the reorder, and I'm doing a 95. I like this every bit
I'll
as
go
much.
95.
Totally different.
Totally different. Totally different, like Ed.
Totally different, like Ed and like Paul. And there you go, boys and girls. Vintners Series 2014.